Text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the team and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, sponsored by Southeast Community College and M Street Drive-In. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you. Once again, no Enrique Alvarez Clary today. He and his wife Rachel are celebrating the birth of their son, Cade Johnson. I know it's Cade. I think the middle name's Johnson. I apologize, Rico, if I messed that up. I think Big Sky will be with me tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, so we'll be diving into some of that. However, there's a lot of stuff to get to today. There's slow pitch softball review from last night's game. There is some Husker basketball stuff, both men's and women's, with G Herbo coming to town. Happer and I were listening to G Herbo before he left, and I got to tell you, not horrible, not the greatest, not horrible though. Eric Shenander talked a little bit yesterday. We didn't get to go over what he had to say yesterday, so we'll dive into some of that because obviously, I mean, the defense didn't play as bad as the offense did on Saturday. I don't think that's boisterous to say or anything. So we're going to keep it light, keep it fun today. We'll also talk about kind of the fragility of the program, and we'll wrap it up with some other topics as well. But always, we have to get to the first text of the day. We really need to create a sounder for this. AJ, congratulations. You were the first text of the day, right on the dot at 2 p.m., and so you are the winner of nothing today. As always, 402-464-5685. You can chime in all hour long on the Honda of Lincoln hotline if you want to call in. If you want to just stay in text, just the Starter Heyman text line, both of those are open for you, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream. Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We can throw your comment up there as well. Let's dive into it first. We'll talk about the slow pitch softball review. All right. I was pretty excited about this. Unfortunately, the game last night did not go how we wanted it to. We lost. My team lost 14-13. However, my performance, folks, not too bad. We had a couple singles, drove in a couple runs on one of the singles, and then on my second at-bat of the game, a 3-run bomb over left center field at Ballard Park. And I really hope somebody is listening because that can either text in if they were there, they can call in and vouch for me. Because I'm not sure many people would believe me, especially when I'm not the best slow pitch softball player. At first base last night, we talked about how I needed a bigger glove. Last night, my glove did wonders for me. I caught one where I had to come off the bag and catch it. I didn't think I caught it, but luckily enough for me, the guy was slow enough and I was able to tag him. Pretty athletic play on my part, I will say. I probably won't be able to do it again, but you know, we're happy with it. So unfortunately, my team moved to, I believe, 1-4, 1-3 on the season now, maybe 1-4. However, we're not last in our division. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? So yeah, I know I play one of the guys on the text line next week, I believe, at 6:15. Eric in Lincoln says, were the fences moved completely in and the wind blowing out? I just can't believe this report. Yeah, neither can nobody else could. I told my parents that last night. I was like, hey, I hit a 3-run bomb. And my parents were like, do you have proof? How are we supposed to believe you? And I was like, well, I guess tomorrow when I throw it out there on the airwaves, it's as good as permanently done. I mean, it's out there now. But I promise you folks, it is true. Like I said, I'm not the tallest first baseman, but luckily, thanks to my catching days, I'm able to squat down, go down with the ball. I'm not good at picking the ball, especially with my 11.5-inch glove, but it all works out. Once again, 402-464-5685. Unnamed texter says, who is the best softball player at the ticket? So I think in his prime, DP was, because that one day when they kind of found out that I played slow pitch softball, it was with DP and Jay were in here, and DP said that in his prime, he could really, really play. And so we'll have to ask him that when he comes in at 3:00 for the one-on-one. But I think DP could really play. Jake acts like he could play really, really well. We went to DBAT a couple months ago, and Jake looked a little uncoordinated, but it all worked out. Happer was good. Happer is similar to me. I think Happer and I, since we both played baseball, we were pretty similar. Happer can throw a little harder than I can. However, I mean, my rotator cuff is as good as gone nowadays. So let's see. I'm trying to think. Mark was surprisingly pretty talented behind the dish when we were throwing bullpens. Rico is out. Sorry, Rico. I mean, no, that's just not even a chance. We're getting a lot of reaction on the text line. Consistent Mike says, were you playing at Holmes Lake where the fences are 200? No, Mike. They were not 200. I think it was like 285, maybe 265. Like I said, this was not straight to left field. This was left center, folks. Left center. There was no wind. It was a beautiful night. Beautiful night out there. I knew it. I stayed back in the box. The guy pitched it. I was like, you know what? Why not surprise a few folks tonight? This is the time. Ben says, you're a man of steel. No surprise you're hitting dingers, you savage. Thank you. That's what I'm getting at. This is going to be something of the norm for me from now on, folks. And then lastly, Breezy Scott says, Jake cannot play, not even close, and he runs like a girl. Listen, I'm not going to talk about Jake. I have something embarrassing to admit. My freshman year of high school, I did not know how to run. I didn't. I mean, I probably ran like I had a stick up my butt. That's probably what it looked like. And so I would work with our strength and conditioning coach at Pius before or after during baseball practices. We'd be lifting and everything, and I'd be doing running drills to try to figure out my form. Didn't work, but I maybe have looked a little bit more normal nowadays. We also get asked if my team runs a 3-man outfield or a 4-man. We would like to run a 4-man. However, when we only have 9 guys, we're kind of – that's the thing. Last night, the team we were playing had 4 outfielders. I mean, they had 10 dudes. We had 9, and we still only lost by 1. We had a chance. We had a shot. We had the top of our lineup up in the in the last inning, and we just couldn't get it done. Our leadoff guy just tomahawked it, flew out to the right center, and that's what it was. That's what happened. Eric and Lincoln says I'm striking out next game. I bet I won't. And I think, like I said a couple minutes ago, I think I play somebody that listens to the show. So if so, they can film my at-bats so that I don't strike out. I have never struck out in slow pitch softball. I've been doubled up. Also, yeah, I mean, I was my most proud play last night was, and we'll move on after this. My most proud play last night was a line drive back to the pitcher. I was playing first base, folks, remember. Guy on first. We were in the field. Pitcher catches a line drive, a rocket, right back at him. And bam, I was there. I was at first base, folks. I was at first base, and we doubled him up. It was like athletic plays for me last night. Like, this is why I'm saying this, folks, is I'm not an athlete. I'm not an athlete. Especially after freshman year, especially after COVID year. No way. Not in athletic shape. And so we get a little bit before we move on to G Herbo here. Jake Sorensen chimes in on the text line, says, "I run like a girl. Say what? Fight me." Hey man, that was Scott. That's none of my business. I'm staying out of that. All right. If you did not hear just a little bit ago, it was announced. Keep sending in their thoughts on slow pitch softball. I could talk about that all day. It's kind of fascinating. But G Herbo, I never heard of him. You probably have never heard of him. However, he seems like pretty popular. He's got over 1.8 million followers on Twitter, which, I mean, I guess that's pretty popular. So anyway, opening night with Husker Hoops, both Husker men's basketball and Husker women's basketball. They're going to have G Herbo play a post-scrimmage concert, I suppose is what it's called. I guess that's what you can call it. And if you've never heard G Herbo, just you wait. And I promise, this will only be played a couple times, but today we're able to play G Herbo.
On the same thing, try and repeat. We was in the whips right back on the enemy. On my last hit, I was in the middle seat.
And so you will be able to see and hear G Herbo live at Pinnacle Bank Arena. You can hear G Herbo live and in person at Pinnacle Bank Arena October 1st, like I said. Tickets will be going on sale, I believe, next Wednesday. I read that you can start reserving seats for the lower bowl next Wednesday at noon. Doors open at 6:30. I think the event starts at 7:30. But you remember last year, I mean, this was going to be interesting. Last year, they had Rick Ross, I believe, is who they had perform. Or a couple years ago, I should say, they had whoever that was that performed at their opening night with, it was the same week as College Game Day with Ohio State. And so I remember, because I was one of those guys that was camping out the night before for College Game Day. And I remember there were tons of people that were just walking over from PBA, getting done with the concert there, and walking over to camp out for College Game Day the next day, because and I'll vividly remember this because people were starting to cut, and that's when the whole mess began. And I can get into the College Game Day story some other time. We might be able to do that towards the end of the show here. Unnamed texter says, "I'd rather you keep pumping us full of your slow pitch hype than that trash music." Hey, I didn't say it was good. I did not say it was good. But also, I mean, me and Happer were bumping to it in the production studio while Tom and Bach were on. I mean, come on. Back on the enemy. Stuffed on my last hit, I was in the middle seat. Out the sunroof, Brody got a quick release. And we in the car real fast with police. Shots fired back, but it's in the street. So yeah, once again, G Herbo, October 1st at PBA. Here's an interesting part. They also added the prices for, on a more serious note, they also added the prices for Husker men's basketball tickets on their little release that they had on Huskers.com. For the 300 level for the whole season, I think it's 21 home game slate, and it includes the couple exhibition games, includes the charity game against Colorado, I believe, on October 31st, maybe. I think that's on Halloween night. Or not, yeah. Then I think that's when Colorado's game is. But $168 for the 300 level seats. Now, I will say I've sat up in the 300 levels, and it kind of feels like you're on top of the court. Kind of gives you that unnerving feeling. But I mean, hey, this season could be exciting. I mean, we talked about the Auburn and Nebraska game yesterday down in Atlanta, where it's kind of interesting. I mean, you can get tickets for $70, I think, to go down there, see the whole morning session of games or afternoon session as well. And so I think it's gonna be a fun year. We talked about expectations for Nebraska men's basketball, whether it's NIT or whether it's just not having to play on the first day of the Big Ten tournament, which if you're in that boat, perfectly fine there. Go ahead. Have that goal set where I don't want to play on the first day of the Big Ten tournament, because man, even if Nebraska is a good enough team to make it to day 3, or the ball kind of just bounces their way and they make it to day 3, then you're just gassed, especially going up against teams from the Big Ten Conference. I mean, you're just gassed. So that's where something like, being able to have a day bye and only having to play on starting out on day 2 of the tournament, that's where that can come into play and really be beneficial. And depending on injuries and depth and stuff, obviously that will play a little bit of a part in it. But just definitely something to be excited about this year, especially, goodness sakes, if Nebraska football doesn't turn it around, and obviously it's early there, but there's a lot of good things to be looking forward to in the winter and the spring, especially with Husker baseball, but even Husker women's basketball. Jazz Shelley from Oregon transferring in. We've talked to Michael Caton before. Ashley Scoggin is still there. There's a lot of, that was a lot of youth on Nebraska women's basketball team last year. And they have an opportunity now where last year they knocked off the teams that they weren't supposed to. Like when Northwestern came to town, they beat them. They would win on the road against some top 25 opponents. Whenever top 25 opponents fell on Nebraska's schedule in front of Nebraska women's basketball, they found themselves on top of it at the end of the game. The games that they weren't supposed to win. So then you have to ask yourself, what do we have to do to eventually win against teams that we are supposed to beat, if that makes sense? But, it's just one of those things where there's a lot of excitement going on around Pinnacle Bank Arena for both men's and women's basketball. 402-464-5685. As always, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. We'll continue this thought. We have a quick call here. However, once again, there's nobody to screen calls right now. We're short-staffed with Rico out. So, caller, how's it going? Can I get your name? All right, there you go, folks. That's live radio. And that happens sometimes. And so, like I was saying, a lot of things to be excited about down at Pinnacle Bank Arena, whether you're looking at strictly at men's basketball, women's basketball, and then also that NBA scouting session with Nebraska and Creighton. Even though, there's definitely a rivalry there, and I think that's well and alive, even though Nebraska's kind of come up on the short end of the stick every now or, the last couple years. But it's definitely alive, and Nebraska definitely has a chance to come out on top this year. Absolutely. And it's going to be something to watch down the road here. All right, switching sports here real quick. I don't know if you guys have seen Shohei Ohtani, but he's absolutely unbelievable. Shohei Ohtani is one of the greatest things to happen to Major League Baseball that I can remember in the last couple years. And obviously you have your feel-good stories every now and then, but something as consistent as Shohei Ohtani, it's phenomenal. I don't know if you guys saw him steal home last night against the Yankees. I think it was in the 5th inning. It was a tied ball game and everything. Absolutely awesome. Just crazy to see Shohei be able to steal home. It was on like a 1st to 3rd play. But still, the aggressive base running, even when you're in the majors and you're as successful as Shohei is, that's the stuff that people love to see. And also, he's doing it consistently. 8-1 on the mound this year, a 3.00 ERA. At the plate, hitting .262, 42 dongs, 90 ribbies, 22 stolen bases. I mean, holy cow. Shohei Ohtani. And yeah, he's on his entry-level deal or his initial contract, so they're only paying him $3 million this year. But he's in line for a big payday. Huge payday. And it makes me wonder, are the Angels going to be able to retain him? Is he going to want to stay with LA? I don't know. And I was still thinking, even with Shohei, and I know Rendon's banged up and Mike Trout's banged up and they have 0 pitching. The Angels are like still below 500 and they're bad. Like, I think they're 1 game below 500, I suppose. They'd be last in their division if it wasn't for the Texas Rangers. And obviously, and just to add on to the pile of things, they have a lot of stuff internally going on with that Tyler Skaggs, and one of their former employees just got arrested a couple weeks ago for something he did involving Tyler Skaggs and how all that went down and stuff. And so I just asked myself, why can't they win? What's holding them back? Is it their pitching? Is that what's holding them back? Because when they're fully healthy and it's Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon and now Shohei and whoever fills the infield, I know they had Andrelton Simmons for a while. I'm not completely sure if they still have him. But like you'd think they should be a top team in the majors. Just no pitching. And I guess, as a Cubs fan, and this will be my time to rant. So this is going to be, if you want to rant about your team, 402-464-5685, this will be our little baseball corner before we take a break. I know it's been full of slow pitch softball, baseball, but I promise you we'll talk football when we come back here shortly. But, the Cubs are horrible, folks. Horrible. And I understand that they wanted to sell everything. I understand that. But, if you think about it, Patrick Wisdom is what they pride themselves on right now. And he's doing fine. He's doing great. Every night on Twitter, it's Patrick Wisdom with another home run or Patrick Wisdom with great glove play at third or whatever. And they're 58 and 70 something, 58 and 75, I believe. Fourth in their division, thankfully, because they have the Pirates who only have 47, 49 wins, something like that. I guess it all goes back to the offseason. This is my time to vent because also Rico's not here, so I can do it without him bragging about his Yankees who stole Anthony Rizzo from us. But it all goes back to the offseason. Yu Darvish, they tell him, hey, we're going to compete. We're going to compete for a World Series title. We have the talent. And so Yu Darvish is like, oh, yeah, I'm all in, baby. Let's do it. And then he gets dealt to San Diego. And then they decide not to sign Colton Wong, the infielder who was originally at the Cardinals, on a very club-friendly deal. I think he signed for 2 years and $18 million. Holy cow. That's something that you can put in your infield. You can put him next to Baez since Nico Horner wasn't healthy all season. It was awesome. I saw that, Colton Wong was interested in the Cubs. And I thought, heck yeah, bro. Give him on to us. Give him to us. We want Colton Wong. Boost up that infield. We just heard that you were telling Yu Darvish that you were going to contend. That's the right mentality to have. We have Rizzo still. We have Bryant. Jason Hayward's getting paid way too much to be out there in right field, but it's fine. We're going to be fine. And then they don't sign him either. Colton Wong, that is. Then they signed Jock Peterson, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do it. Jock Peterson. Cubs let Schwarber go. But then they signed Jock Peterson. He does fine until he gets traded to the Braves for a prospect because the Cubs finally realized that, we aren't going to be able to hold on to Anthony Rizzo because we're just not able to give him the steep price. And that's where I had that whole thought and the rationale of, man, you just got to pay the guys because a guy like Anthony Rizzo meant more to the Cubs than what he just put on the field. The night before he got traded, he raised a couple $100,000 for the Children's Hospital in Chicago. And he got traded the next day. And so just unfortunate, series of events there. Then obviously Rizzo gets traded to the Yanks, starts off hot, got COVID, stuff like that. But then Baez gets traded. Chris Bryant gets traded. We didn't sign Jose Quintana back in the offseason. Didn't sign any pitching in the offseason. We were going full with Alec Mills, baby. Alec Mills. And Jake Arrieta. Can't forget Jake Arrieta before he got cut because he won a Cy Young with the Chicago Cubs a couple years back. So if we bring him back, he's going to be returned to that Cy Young form, of course. However, that was not the case. And now he's not on the Cubs anymore. Craig Kimbrell got dealt. I was okay with the Kimbrell trade, I will say, because they got Nick Madrigal from Oregon State. And being a guy that loves to go to the College World Series, one of my favorite, I cannot wait to see Adley Rutschman join the majors. And even though he's on the Orioles, I mean, I would probably pay top dollar for an Adley Rutschman jersey right now. I'm not kidding you. But I looked online. There's nothing. But Adley Rutschman's going to be an exciting player. I remember, obviously, back in when I was in high school, he was at Oregon State. I think it was his junior year. And it was like the first College World Series that he was like a big name in. And I was a catcher, he was a catcher, and I'm like, dang, this dude. I was sitting out in the bullpen watching him catch bullpens for Oregon State. I'm like, wow, this guy's legit. This guy's awesome. And I watched him on TV, and I'm like, man, he knows what he's doing. And obviously he does, because he was a first overall pick. But a lot of exciting stuff there. But yeah, I just wanted to rant about the Cubs. 402-464-5685. Big Slim says, can you imagine Ohtani and a healthy Trout? That's what I'm saying. Like, and even throw in, a relatively healthy Rendon. You should be just fine. Just no pitching out there in Anaheim. Rico chimes in, says Yanks went from winning 13 straight to 3 straight losses. I don't know. It sucks. Yeah, sorry, Rico. But hey, you still have Rizzo. You have Gallo, Judge. Also, I was asked this the other day. Would people be a fan of Aaron Judge if he wasn't on the Yankees? Because I feel like if he wasn't on the Yankees, he might not have as many home runs. However, he's kind of fun to watch. Like Field of Dreams, he was fun to watch in there, coming out of the corn. If we want to dig all that up again. So yeah, just thoughts there. Sending them in. Would more people be a fan of Aaron Judge if he wasn't on the Yankees? Like, I don't know, if he was on a smaller market team, like, okay, or Miami. If Aaron Judge was on the Miami Marlins, would a lot more people be a fan of him? Send me your thoughts there. 402-464-5685. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some coaching within the Nebraska football program, some stuff on the defensive side of the ball that Eric Shenander talked about yesterday. And then Quinn Ewers, the new Ohio State quarterback who left high school early or graduated high school and everything and just skipped his senior season. He signed a $1.4 million deal to sign autographs for 3 years. And he's not even the starting quarterback at Ohio State. So we'll get to that and more coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
It's Supreme Spa and Pool's huge Labor Day sale. Save now, save big. Above ground pools from $29.99. Stealth, the world's strongest semi in-ground pool with a lifetime transferable warranty from $69.99. Book now. In-ground pool packages from $29.99. Installed this year. Cash and carry spas from $39.99. Ready for immediate pickup with a free water care kit. Labor Day sale savings at Supreme Spa and Pool.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party postgame show on 93.7 The Ticket. Each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the team and coaches too. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, sponsored by Southeast Community College and M Street Drive-In.
Uncle Tim, some friends and I are getting together this weekend. Can you buy us some alcohol?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Come on, it'll be low-key. My friends always say you're cooler than other adults.
Oh, well, all right. But don't let your mother find out and don't get caught. Hello, officer. What can I help you with?
Are you the uncle of Samantha?
Yes. Is she okay?
You're under arrest for procuring alcohol from minors. One of the minors drove drunk and killed the mother of 2 last night in a crash. You're looking at up to 3 years in jail and a $10,000 fine.
Don't make the same mistake he did. We need you to be the responsible adult. Underage drinking, adult consequences. There's no free ride if you provide. Learn more at projectextramile.org.
Sponsored by Region 6, Nebraska DHHS, and SAMHSA. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
The decision to replace your air conditioner will save or waste money for 15 to 20 years. Bryant offers some of the most efficient ACs available, up to 26 year. Schedule your free estimate at BryantLincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Cloudy skies this morning should give way to a little bit of afternoon sunshine. We'll top out near 82, a southeast wind at around 15. We'll keep a few clouds around the region tonight with a low of 67. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover, a decent chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms, and a high once again near 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, Nick Sainert taking you up to 3 p.m. with one-on-one with DP on a Wednesday, 3 days away from Fordham, depending on how you want to count it. Somebody on the text line said DJ LeMahieu is one of the most underrated baseball players. I would agree. And funny you say that because DJ LeMahieu was actually drafted by the Cubs and then traded to the Rockies. I believe in 2011, I think he was part of that Tyler Colvin and Ian Stewart trade because Aramis Ramirez had just left Chicago. And there's a name for you, Aramis Ramirez. Just left Chicago, and they needed a third baseman, so they took Ian Stewart, Tyler Colvin, and I think there was probably a pitcher in there as well. All right, moving on here. Husker football. Eric Shenander talked to the media yesterday, along with Matt Lubick. We talked about a little bit about Matt Lubick yesterday. Now it's the defense's turn, which the defense played all right on Saturday. You know, there was that stat of, you know, the offense or, you know, just special teams gave up a lot of points. You know, the scoop and score 7 right there, plus the safety, plus the 2 extra missed points. There was a lot of points that were, you know, just left on the board because, or put up on the board because of mistakes from Nebraska. So the defense played all right, especially their pass rush. I mean, the pass rush right out of the gate, I remember sitting in the studio here watching it, and I'm like, you see Feldarius Payne jump up, and he's going. Caleb Tanner obviously had the penalty, which we'll talk about here shortly. But it was like, man, Nebraska's pass rush was one of the exciting parts. And that was one of the questions coming in. Who's going to step up? Is it going to be Feldarius Payne? Is it going to be Garrett Nelson? How active is JoJo Doman going to be? What kind of push can the guys up front get against the offensive line of Illinois? And so yesterday, Eric Shenander was asked just about the pass rush in general, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I thought the guys rushed the passer well in the first, especially the first quarter. In the second half, we didn't probably earn the right to rush them as much as we should have. But in the first half, they did a nice job rushing the quarterback. I think the pass rush has improved greatly. Outside guys, inside guys, and most of those sacks, weren't schemed up sacks. They were 4-man rushes, guys getting home. So that's very encouraging to see, especially in conference play.
That last part is something that I kind of took note of, is that they weren't designed. They weren't blitzing. They were just normal plays. They weren't scheming up guys, just normal. And they were able to get some penetration up front in the trenches, which is something that Nebraska is going to need to do if they want to flip this thing around, number one. Number two, they just want to be successful up front. In the Big Ten, we talk about it all the time. So you got to win the battle in the trenches. And that's something that Nebraska is going to have to do on both sides of the ball, but the defense can definitely play their part there as well. Shenander also talked about later that day or later yesterday, just about being an unselfish player, because he was asked about Caleb Tanner's play as well. And he was asked what adjustments you have to make going from high school to college to even playing on Sundays in terms of what you can do around the quarterback, how you can hit the quarterback where it's still legal, if that makes sense. And I talked about this yesterday, how guys on Nebraska's side, especially the offense, just kind of didn't seem really aware of what's going on necessarily. The awareness wasn't too sharp, it felt like, especially when it mattered most. And that kind of falls in line with what I'm saying about being an unselfish player as well. And for anyone on the defensive side of the ball, I guess when you're talking about being unselfish, you're talking about, understanding that when you don't have to get a sack to dictate or, play your part in a play, if that makes sense. When you get past the blocker and you're able to hurry up the quarterback or rush the quarterback or distract him at all, you're still affecting the play in a positive way for your side. Like that play with that interception, the one that sticks out the brightest, that interception was not caused by Caleb Tanner driving him to the ground. It was caused because Caleb Tanner was coming at him and possibly made contact right when he threw the football. And so here's what Eric Shenander said yesterday, and I'll wrap this up here before we get to the next clip, but just about how you have to adjust to what you can do from high school to college as well.
We've all played pee-wee football and high school football, and you get away with things that you can't get away with in college, and you're going to go, if you want to go play on Sunday, you're not going to get away with some things on the Sunday league that you do in college football. So you've got to make the adjustment, and you've got to be an unselfish player, and you've got to be willing to help the team, and it's got to be about team and not about me. And like I said, that's not just for Caleb, that's for everybody on the football team, that's for everybody on defense.
Now, with that being said, I don't want to sound soft. I do enjoy competitiveness, and I guess it's categorized as taunting, I suppose. And so I guess I would be one to say that I enjoy taunting to an extent. But let me explain that a little bit. I enjoy being able to physically see the competitive juices flowing. That's part of what makes sports so great and so much fun to watch. However, like I was just saying before I played that clip, understanding and knowing that you still disrupted the play without, pushing a dude's head in the ground or, getting up and stepping over him and doing stuff like that, which can take away a turnover, or I suppose you could say take away a takeaway for your defensive side. That's when it kind of, crosses that line to that wasn't as smart of a play. But to an extent, I suppose your competitiveness gets the best of you. Moving on, another big question that was going into the season from the off season was the position competition at the cornerback position opposite Cam Taylor-Britt. We heard Quentin Newsome. We heard Braxton Clark. Newsome had 5 tackles in the game against Illinois. And maybe we see more of Braxton Clark this week against Fordham, possibly. But I want you guys, when I play this clip, once again, you kind of feel, this is where I kind of have some assurances that the coaching staff, that you can kind of have faith that the defensive side is especially, but even working with the offensive coaching staff, they kind of are on the same page of what they want to accomplish, and that's consistency.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an ongoing battle. I think all those guys that are fighting for a job over there are doing some nice things, and it's going to be, how do you practice during the week? And if it's close, then we got to rotate guys in there. If it's not close, we'll stick with one guy. But that's an ongoing situation every week.
So once again, consistency. We heard it on the offensive side of the ball. That was one of the reasons Scott Frost gave for Sevion Morrison not playing, or not being able to see Sev. Just wasn't the most consistent week of practice for Sevion. Same thing with Xavier Betts. Matt Lubick said it yesterday. They need to see consistency, and the guys need to earn their playing time going into that game to be able to play. And they have to be able to trust. We talked about it with Adrian Martinez in the offensive line, going back to the offense again, because that's one of the bigger worries going into the rest of the season. Not only just Fordham, because you're not going to probably be able to learn a lot from Fordham, but going into the rest of the season, that's one of the bigger question marks is this offense. Because like I said earlier, the defense played all right. The defense played well enough to win on Saturday. Especially if you take away that scoop and score, if you take away the 2 missed point afters, well, there's 9 points right there. And the difference was 8. Then you take away the safety. There's 11. Defense played well enough to win. Obviously, they need to have that mentality of, we need to get better every day. But I feel like they do, because they have experience. And one last clip from Eric Shenander here in a couple minutes. He was, just asked how he felt like they played overall. Like I've said multiple times, I feel like this team played all right. The defense, especially the experienced group, played all right.
Well, I thought he played a tremendous football game outside of the penalty. They got to understand, when we get in that unit meeting, I'm correcting Caleb, but I'm correcting everybody. It's not about Caleb anymore. It's about everybody learning, what's the rules? How can we avoid situations like that? The quarterback, the game has changed. You can't do things around the quarterback that you used to be able to do. And an emphasis this year is on taunting. We need to celebrate with our teammates. Spontaneous celebration is one of the greatest things about college football. But we need to celebrate with our teammates and not make it about me. And that's not for Caleb. That's for the entire team. That's for the entire defense. And those are just things that can't happen. It couldn't happen the other day, and it did. And that can't happen the rest of the season.
We heard last week about guys putting out fires. I don't know what other, I guess internal issues or arguments. They're putting them out before they reach Scott Frost's desk. And I think that reigns true right now. I feel confident about that for one side of the ball. And I just feel like the defense is much more organized. There's just that feel to it. Going into Illinois, I'll admit, I was high on this offense. And I hate saying that after one game. And I hate the idea that after one game, the confidence definitely dipped on the offense. But I think it was just because, we heard going in and all offseason that from everybody, not only the coaching staff, the players too, it was, we want to run it downhill. Nebraska, they finally have the personnel to run the ball downhill. Greg Austin said it multiple times. One cut and go. One cut and get downhill. Heard it multiple times. And it was almost disappointing and I suppose deflating to an extent when you just didn't see that on Saturday. And so I feel like the defense is kind of a well-oiled machine a little bit. And I understand that you can probably chalk that up to experience on one side, and there's a lot more proven talent on the defensive side of the ball to where there's unproven talent on the offensive side of the ball. But hey, whatever's getting the job done, and this isn't going to shock anybody, but there's a lot more confidence in the defense right now going up against Michigan State the week after Oklahoma than there would be for the offense right now. And so that's just something to think about. And then, I mean, that can carry over here. We have a couple minutes left in this segment before we wrap things up and get you to one-on-one. That can kind of just talk about the fragility of the program. And we talked about it on Monday. And I hate bringing it up again, but it's kind of hard not to when it's, when was that point that you kind of thought, oh no, this is not good? And we don't need to go down that rabbit hole again, but it was more of just it is just more of a, scoop and score or the interception or just the safety, either way. And so I've said it many times, and Scott Frost said it too. This program just needs momentum. However, it's kind of worrisome when I don't know how much you're going to be able to get from Fordham, unfortunately. And then Buffalo back-to-back. I just don't know how much momentum you're going to be able to get. But that's what like I said yesterday. I can't remember which show it was on. That's where you just look at the personnel and say, all right, who's lining up when? Who's out there on what plays? Like DP's talked about a lot of times, what's their go-to play? What's this offense's best play? And so that's the stuff that you can watch even against teams and programs like Fordham and Buffalo. Let's go ahead and take a break. One final timeout here on the Happy Hour. We'll wrap things up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Early break with Sip and Jake.
I wanted to see a team that was pissed, that was urgent, and I saw that from the get-go from the defense. Man, they look good. The defense was getting in the backfield right away. Those first couple drives, oh my gosh. Man. And then it just stopped. I said, this can't be a couple drives. It's got to be a full 60 minutes. If you are going to tell me, Cam Taylor-Britt, on Monday that this is your Super Bowl for the year, I better see 60 minutes of hell out there. Fire. I didn't see it.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Herrick Services takes this time to wish everyone a happy and healthy Labor Day weekend. We are thankful for all the hard workers in this country that make it great and celebrate with them all with well-deserved time off this weekend. This important message comes to you from Bart, Mike, and the folks at Herrick Services, your vending specialist here in Lincoln. Their quality service and expertise has earned them a fine reputation. That's Herrick Services on the air because they care.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Cloudy skies this morning should give way to a little bit of afternoon sunshine. We'll top out near 82. A southeast wind at around 15. We'll keep a few clouds around the region tonight with a low of 67. Tomorrow, increasing cloud cover. A decent chance of late-day showers and thunderstorms. The high once again near 82. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The decision to replace your air conditioner will save or waste money for 15 to 20 years. Bryant offers some of the most efficient ACs available, up to 26 year. Schedule your free estimate at BryantLincoln.com.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Take a class in leadership and professional development, like real estate license prep, business courses like accounting and financials, or building a business plan, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like dog grooming, making jewelry, or even charcuterie. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC. Your path to possible.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meat, The Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, sewer and water underground repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. That's Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
Now back to the happy hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here one final time on the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. There is a lot of stuff happening tonight, folks, within the walls of 93.7 The Ticket. So let me just lay it out for you. And you'll hear all about it, trust me. But let me just lay it out for you. So 3 to 4, you have the one-on-one with DP. As always, he will be joined today by Husker men's basketball big man, an integral part of what they're building here, Derek Walker. Big announcement at 4 o'clock, so make sure you're joining in with that, or for that. Jay will be here as well to join on Old School. 6 to 8, you have What's the Buzz with Nebraska men's basketball director of player development, Buzzy Carruthers, who will be joined by Kobe Webster, the guard who decided to come back one more time for Husker men's basketball. And then we don't stop at 8. We do not stop at 8 p.m. as from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. tonight, there will be a Husker basketball reunion. Include the names Terrence Badgett and many, many more. So a lot of good stuff. Make sure you're tuning in. Keep that dial and the stream on till 10 p.m. tonight. Yes, folks, you heard that right, 10 p.m. We will also be at Tipsy Tina's Friday. There's a lot of stuff happening this weekend. We'll have our normal Husker pregame coverage. Come out and see us at Tipsy Tina's. I think they're starting at 8:30 out there. And so they'll take you up to kickoff. And then following kickoff, you can join Happer and Bach for the Husker after party. Colin, with your thoughts following Nebraska's hopeful win against Fordham. We expect a win. And so then after the Husker after party, DP and Jay will take you home with a ticket post-game show as well, live from Tanner's. And also, I forgot this on Friday night, high school football. It's the battle between Southeast and Southwest. Happer will have the call. I'm excited to go check that one out as well. And then we'll recap it all for you prior to the Husker football pregame coverage on the high school Saturday show Saturday morning. A lot of stuff going on, folks. I have to catch my breath after that one. But like I was saying, the main part, make sure you're keeping it tuned right here till 10 p.m. tonight to make sure you don't miss anything exciting happening. There's a lot of good stuff going on. All right, final few minutes here on the happy hour on Wednesday's show. Today, Joe Klatt, actually, I think it was Fox College Football put this out there, but Joe Klatt said something about it. It was kind of interesting if you want to go check it out. He put out the top 10 NFL rankings. However, he put it out there with the recruiting rankings of the guys, what they were ranked when they were recruited. Patrick Mahomes obviously came in number 1. He was the 398th best player in the country, a 3-star. The 22nd overall quarterback. Aaron Donald, 353rd best player overall in 2010. It's kind of interesting. The top 3 players in the NFL were all 3 stars coming out of high school. It shows you how much development matters when you're talking about stuff in terms of building successful programs. Travis Kelce was a 2-star. He was not even in the top 1,500 players in 2008. 85th best tight end in the country. Kind of crazy to think about. That is all for today. Week 1 of the college football season actually starts tonight with one game. I believe it's Jacksonville State versus UAB. But the real games start tomorrow, or not real, but the more interesting games start tomorrow with Ohio State and Minnesota, along with Rutgers and Temple. Rutgers sold out. First time they're going to be able to see Greg Schiano. And so we'll talk all about that and more. Tomorrow, I think Big Sky will join me as well at 2 p.m. Rico's out for a couple more days. And we'll see what other news is going on around Nebraska football. One-on-one with DP is next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
In every office, there's 2 types of people.